If you haven't been living under a rock, you know that Brookhaven has been in constant change, which is why today I'll be showing how the old Brookhaven looked in all its details. We'll start it off with the very first version of all time, from 1903. This may not look like it, but it's the very first version of Brookhaven ever. I'm sure of that because there's ways to confirm it in the latest versions of the game by going to the mall. If we go to the cinema to watch a movie, and then input a secret code in the projector, we'll be able to see the story of the city of Brookhaven. You'll see how it all began when nothing really existed. All it had was a horse and Mr. Brookhaven. There's tons of images from the start of the game until we get to this one right here. As you can see, there's a sign for the city of Brookhaven as he puts it up, while on the next one we can see how Brookhaven looked all the way back then. The sign is behind them now, and the building is still being constructed back there. Next we can see other parts of town starting to get built. I think those white parts over there have to do with the church. That takes us back to this version from 1903 with the exact same sign from that movie. Beyond that, it also seems to be a holiday version. Since they're celebrating the new year over here, there's even fireworks going out today. This is awesome! This is the same ladder we saw Mr. Brookhaven use in the movie. And apparently the building that was still being built in the back was the old police station. Look at just how different it was back then. Most things were not even here yet. Everything has that old feeling. Everything was also made out of wood, as you can see. Let's focus on what matters for this video though. The mall at this point was literally nothing still. All it had was an empty lot with grass and trees. Wait, we can just push this horse around? This is so funny! So much of this town was a whole lot simpler at this time. But that's practically it. We didn't have much anywhere and the mall wasn't even a thought still. Now we're in the year of 2020, which was the year where Brookhaven opened up so every single player could log into the game. We can even confirm that just by looking at the point the game was created. Here you'll read that it was made in 2020, making this the very first version of Brookhaven ever. Getting back to the topic of the mall, at this point it didn't exist as well. All we had in that space was the Burger Barn. This place has even been recently re-added into Brookhaven as well. Most people don't know that this place is old, even less about the secret passage that I always show you guys, where you'll find this empty space in the vents with some snacks before our shift starts. Yummy. Let's look around a bit more before leaving this older version of the game. Continuing our exploration with the old skate park. Yeah, the skate park was once located behind the gas station. You could find it beneath this high road, and it had way more places to skate around than the one we have nowadays. Anyone could just grab your board and do as many tricks as you wanted around this awesome space it had. They even left a Coke machine if you ever needed a drink before some tricks. If we go and compare the older version of the skate park with the most recent one, it has nothing to do with anything. This is Rockstar. It's a clothing store that looked like this back then. It changed with recent versions, but something they've also taken out was these stairs that took you up to the second floor. Here you could buy things like backpacks, hats. They even had a little changing room as well. The bank was pretty much the same, just so we don't lose anything. Something it did of different is the way out of here through the vents that wasn't added yet. You know what I'm talking about. When you steal from the bank's vault, you're able to use this vent to escape the police and all that. So yeah, back then you couldn't do that at all. Another store we had at this point is called the Cleaners. Here we had a place where you could ask for your clothes to get cleaned, so that was pretty useful. Sadly, the Cleaners are nowhere to be found in Brookhaven's latest versions, but we can still find at least some of its ideas here, since if we go and click this laundromat button, the whole room will turn into a place for you to do your laundry, which is a lot prettier than the Cleaners. Something else that's different is this auto shop we have here. As you can see, it has nothing to do with the one we have nowadays. Check out just how much simpler it was. Back area, for example. By the way, there's also quite a big secret hidden beneath this place, since there's an entrance into the old criminal headquarters in here. Sadly, this version is a bit buggy, so we can't really walk over there. Hopefully our next map will let us do that. We also had an agency building that was inside the game back then. The only place you'll find it nowadays is inside some of the movies in the cinema. It's still interesting to see how this place was. It came with all sorts of rooms for the FBI and all their tools. Something else about this place is that it was directly connected to the older Brookhaven police station. So those two buildings were basically one before. Here's some other old buildings and the places you could find them back in 2020. Not only that, we even had a housing community that was completely different. That was Blackhawk. In most recent versions, you'd find this community over this way, close to the entrance to Lake Madison. But all these years back, you could find it right in front of the public pool. Didn't it look completely different? You could actually grab a housing plot here and live as close to spawn as possible. Another thing you'll figure out is that some stores were not even added into the game yet. Club Brooks, for example, you'll be able to find up here later. Beyond the old Blackhawk location, you could even get some housing lots over here as well. This whole side had this huge ramp that took you to these 2 plots of land, which is not bad at all. To finish off this version, back in 2020 we didn't have much close to the school. All it had was this highway that took you over to Tube TV. We also had this drone ride sign down here. And Lake Madison didn't have either the little cabin or even all the trees you'd normally find close to it today. Now we've logged into a version from 2021. Or at least I think it is. I wasn't playing the game back at this time. Apparently Tube TV had already been deleted and they left the Brookhaven church in its place for now. Quite a strange place. Looks like I got a Christmas version this time, which is why you'll see all kinds of decorations spread all around town, like that big lollipop up there. Brookhaven's airport was still getting added, so all they had was this sign that let you board into the plane. That didn't take you to an airport, but straight inside the plane they've made. Here's what it looked back then. Not that different from what it is nowadays. Here's how the grocery store looked back then. It's almost nostalgic to see all of this. Let's go back to the video's topic. Here's the mall. It looked like this back then. Completely black like that. Can we take a look inside? Oh, this map doesn't let me. Guess we'll have to use our free camera once again. Inside it also was completely different. We did already have things like the cinema though. You can even find some movies I've never seen before. Apparently the name of this one is Give Robux. It'll also open in 2021. So maybe this version is from 2020/2021. That would only make sense. The most interesting part is actually here on this side. It literally had a bar over here. This side felt a lot more like a party place than the mall that it should be. You could come get some drinks of all kinds here. Also, it came with some speakers so they could play some bops all around the place. Did you know it had its own dance floor? These other parts we all know, but on the second floor we could see what's left of Tube TV, which has now been turned into the TV station. A whole dance studio could be found here as well, but beyond that the rest of the mall was pretty empty. So yeah, the first versions of the Brookhaven Mall was a lot more like Club Brooks than an actual mall. With that in mind, as you can see, Club Brooks wasn't even added yet. The entire room is empty still. Tube TV could be found where this church is at this point, but of course it was moved over to inside the mall. Now over to the sides of the school it was still pretty empty. You couldn't find much at all. Even still, this version of the game already shows some resemblance to how it is today. I've now joined another version from the same year of 2021. The biggest difference from this version is that the mall looks a lot more like the newest versions. It became a lot lighter than before. Here where you'd find the church before was made different by the addition of the new airport. And of course, Club Brooks has finally been built into the game. Let's have a closer look at the mall. Inside it, you'll see that the whole party aspect has been scrapped from it. Everything from the bar to the dance floor has been taken out in exchange for things like this electronics kiosk, as well as the classic Moe's Pizza. Everything else in this place didn't change as much, but there's some things up here, since they decided to add more kiosks, like this camping supplies one for party supplies, and finally one for baby stuff at the other side. Another thing we got with this update was the Happy Burger restaurant. Oh yeah, do you remember both the community and the high road we could get 2 houses at before? After those versions, around 1 year or so, they were removed from the game completely, turning that high road with only 2 housing lots into this straight road without any homes. Also, Rockstar's second floor, as I said before, was already taken out at this point. The cleaners were still part of the game for now, working as normal. But by going closer to the school, you can see they added new stuff. This whole camping area that we are well aware about, as well as the brand new skate park. Sadly, Lake Madison still didn't have much, but they did start to add trees in there. I almost forgot, this is the very second version of the auto shop that the game ever saw. And that secret with the criminal headquarters of before is still here, as you already know by now. This time we're in a version that's probably from 2022. I did say probably, as I can't really be sure, since Brookhaven went through tons of changes, but this one should be around that time for sure. Of course, it already looks a lot more like the newest versions. Like on top of the grocery store, we already have all the apartments added in. At this point, we already had the mansion estates. You can even see that most stores and places we all know have already been put into the game. Let's start this off with the mall then. It's already a lot more like what we have nowadays. The ground floor really hasn't changed much since last time, but we do have some different stuff on the second one. Doesn't that look a lot better? We can't forget about the addition of Rosie's gym, of course, which looks incredible. The auto shop was also moved all the way here, as well as getting a well-deserved remodel, a lot better than before. Sadly, the old criminal headquarters was fully deleted out of here as well. Here we have Lake Madison, which already looks just like we know it today. Things like the yacht and the lakeside cabin. Just look at all the trees they added as well. It really gave so much more life into the place. Remember the drone ride sign? That was just deleted from here after this. You won't find it anywhere. Finally, we're at the very latest version we have of the game, with every single new remodeling, and we have tons more stuff than we had before. With the latest update giving us a brand new version of the mall, which gave it such a new modern look. Comment down below if you like these new versions the game's been having. Thank you so much for watching the video until the end. Go ahead and leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for even more videos like these. You'll be seeing a list of all the new channel members we got, so a shout out to all of them, and thank you all so much for all this support.